The next speaker, Governor, is Mary Gallucci. Mary Gallucci.
Yes, Mary Gallucci.
Hi.
Hello. I was happy to hear you say that the problems in Hartford are still quite deep and not solved, although every day as a parent in Windham, I have to hear about the miracles wrought by Stephen Adamowski, who is now, I'm now hearing, although he makes the $250,000 salary to be the special master, he did say he reformed, turned around, and improved all the schools and after 4 years left, which wouldn't even be enough to get tenure in most places, but he left before we could see the effect. However, my real question is, I would like to point out, the first thing he did was to cut early childhood slots in this town. He wants to cut busing for poor children so they can't get to early childhood or to school. He wants to bring Teach for America recruits and interns, which is, I guess he can make that decision. It does nothing for teacher retention, which is part of what some of the legislation has to do with in poor districts that are struggling to improve despite the years of not getting educational cost-sharing money, which you haven't addressed, that we have had to put up with this year after year. Now, the last thing I'd like to say is there are school improvement grants in this town. One is at the school where my children attend, which is Natchog, and I believe that might be the lowest school in the state. I'm not sure. It never seemed that way to me. But they are going to be entering their 3rd year next year, and I'm very concerned that he's moving 169 students from other schools and putting them in Natchog, and they're going to have a very difficult 3rd year on their grant by having this additional students because he's in a big hurry to redistribute students from different schools, and they're going to be getting the most students. I'm not even sure that the building will fit them all. I would like to know why the state is not addressing these issues. We are currently doing some of the things you claim to want to do in the districts. We are involved in school improvement plans, but now we have this person who's coming in and decided that whatever we had in process, which we just got going, he's coming in and throwing a wrench in the works. And also, you know, we don't have money. We haven't had resources in a long time, and it's very hard to struggle along that way.
Well, you know, listen, I'm not as expert about what the things that are ongoing in your school district as you are as a parent, nor should you expect me to be. I think you actually misstated what I said about what I think his accomplishments are in Hartford. I actually think they were pretty spectacular. And
that's an opinion. You're entitled to that.
And you're entitled to yours. I'm not trying to dissuade you from yours. But as somebody who lives in Hartford and has visited a number of the schools, and understanding the significance of breaking larger schools into smaller schools and providing additional wraparound services, I have a certain level of admiration for the work that he did there. But with respect, you know, but clearly you don't share that, and I understand that. On the other hand, I suspect that your children would do well anywhere.
That may be true, but I think every child could do well wherever they are.
We both do. We both do. Which I think means that we actually have a lot more in common than you think.
Yes, you can call.
For instance, $760,000 that would come to the budget. The budget, round numbers, is $42 million here of locally raised dollars plus grants and other funds coming to the district. That number would be increased by $760,000 by July or on July 1st. And by the way, because it would be an alliance district, that money can only be spent pursuant to a plan, in furtherance of a plan, and cannot be used to displace local dollars. So yes. We're going to great pains to make sure that those dollars that come to these districts, and there's never been a distribution in the ECS formula that is as tied to low-performing districts as what we're doing here. Out of a total of $50 million flowing in the ECS portion, 39.5 go to the 30 districts. Additionally, $4.5 million for a grant competition that any district can enter, plus early childhood education spots that will go more heavily to substantially more heavily, if not exclusively, to the low-performing districts, plus lots of dollars for educational improvement, plus a change in training, ongoing training of teachers to be far more personalized, and dollars to spend that. And plus, for the first time in the history of the state of Connecticut, Connecticut state government contributing $5 million towards that. All of that is in this package. All of that is in this package. As well as moving us in the direction that other states that actually have shown what you and I believe.
Right. We can't have retention with Teach for America people here for the next 20 years.
Thank you very much.